Yes.
First of all, I like 20th Hour a lot. I saw it yesterday and I think it's a great movie. And my question is, one thing that struck me about it is that that it is very exciting, although you see your characters mostly just hanging out. I mean, they don't have a goal which they try to accomplish the whole time or something like that. And the question is, how did you do that?
Well, again, I think it really goes back to the wonderful script written by David Benioff. It's the setup. We have a 24-hour day period before Edward Norton's character is going away to prison for 7 years. And we try to treat it like a terminal illness. If you have a friend or a loved one that has a terminal illness, you feel very uncomfortable. What do you say to your friend or loved one that's not going to be in the world that much longer? Because anything you say is going to really be trite and trivial. Or how's the weather? Or how do you feel? Well, how do you think I feel? I'm dying. My body's riddled with cancer. I'm not going to be here that much longer. So that's the feelings that the people around Edward Norton's character feel. They're very uncomfortable. Also, you bring in the whole thing of guilt. People feel guilty because they not intervene and stop them from selling drugs. And also blame. They start blaming each other. Well, how come you didn't stop? How come you didn't stop? The father blamed himself. He says, well, because my wife died, I became an alcoholic. Maybe that turned my son into being a drug dealer. And he feels even deeper blame because even though he knew his son was a drug dealer, he still took the money took that blood money to pay for his bar. So, it's very complicated. Yes, Barry's character was never deluded to thinking there was something glamorous about being a drug dealer. All the people in the script, he's the one that says, well, you're a drug dealer, you got caught, well, you should go to prison.
At the same time, he himself is a metaphor for, or beyond, he's a three-dimensional character who believes his religion is money.
He's not a saint.
None of them are they?
Nobody is.
No. Nobody's a saint. Okay.
Yes.
So we learned that it's not fair and it's not easy. You went to NYU film school, and I would like to know from you your explanation why you succeeded and some or most of your other fellow students from NYU maybe didn't make it.
That's a very good question. He asked a very good question. This is the way film is. How many of you sitting here think if we took a poll, took everybody's name right now, and then come back 10 years later, how many of you are still going to be working as directors 10 years from now? Everybody sitting here? I don't think so.
Yeah, but they've got to believe that they've got the possibility to do that.
Yes, but I'm not trying to squash their dreams, sir. But I want them to face reality, because you can talk about film shit and all that other stuff is bullshit. I'm talking about reality. I'm talking about what it is like to work in the film industry today. And if we did a survey, we come back 10 years later, this room would not have many butts in the seats as we have now. Oh, but let me finish, sir. There are some, and he was a classmate of mine at NYU. There are people, you might have heard of them, because also you have to realize that everybody's going to be in film school. Everybody wants to be a director, but some people find out in film school what they really like. Well, maybe my skill is not directing, but I love producing. Maybe I'm not the best director, but I really like editing. I like production design. I like to do sound. So you can still have the career in film besides being a director and really get fulfillment on the creative thing too. So you know, I think it takes talent, hard work, and luck.
Hopefully you've got those three qualities in abundance. So,
I mean, I hope I answer your question. Sir, that's why I'm here today, to debunk the myth that there is some magical, mystical secret that anyone can tell anyone how to become successful in filmmaking. There are no secrets.
okay, I think this lady's been standing here for a long time. Sorry, I must give her a...
Yes.
Hi, Spike.
Hello.
I can imagine living in New York, you might have a magical secret with the great dance community that's in New York. So I'm curious about any choreographers in New York who might be your friends, influences, because I think that really has an impression on a person's timing and style of editing and filmmaking. Could you comment, please?
Yes, New York City is a very creative place, not just choreographers, all the arts, and I know a lot of choreographers I would love to work with when I get to do a musical one day. But until then, you know, we have to wait.
Any names? Give me a name, anybody you like.
Excuse me?
Any particular one that you like?
Yes, there's a woman named Gloria Gibson who's a very fine choreographer.
Question here.
Yes.
I got two questions for you, Spike. There was just a documentary I saw recently, a lot of people probably saw it, about Michael Jackson, that he agreed to make and was in it, and then it turns out that, you know, when it aired, negative publicity, and he hated it, and he was cut. Now, your documentary on Jim Brown, I thought was incredible because it showed all sides of this guy, and the ugly side, and I was wondering, what was his response to it, because it was so honest. It was such an honest portrayal of him, not just, oh, he can run so damn fast. And that question. And the second question is, I just graduated from a film program in the U.S. as well.
Where?
At BU.
Boston University?
Yeah, the graduate program. And, you know, every year, you know, there's like 15 people in the program. There's one person that looks like me, and it's almost like, you know, there's got to have one. And I'm wondering, like, living in Boston, going to school like that,
Boston's rough.
Yeah, it's rough, and I'm thinking about, like, you know, there's a certain other type of networking. I mean, we learn a certain type of networking at events like this, but there is another type of networking. I mean, are you a member of any organizations, or are there groups, you know, support networks for filmmakers, you know, like myself? You know what I mean? Like some sort of resource you can tap into in terms of, you know, like publications that come out, things like that you're aware of.
Are you a member of the Black Filmmaker Foundation run by Warrington Husband?
No.
That's the start.
I haven't even heard of it. Okay. It's Boston, yeah, you know?
Well, Boston is 45 minutes away on the shuttle.
Right.
The first question is Jim Brown.
Oh yes, Jim liked the film very much, and he was very honest with me up front. He said, Spike, do whatever you want to do. He never tried to curtail, you know, who I wanted to interview.
And the other point you were making was a recent documentary made about...
I did not see, you know, I read about it, I did not see the documentary, the BBC documentary on Michael Jackson.
Yeah, you undoubtedly duped into that. It's a pretty hideously lopsided piece of non-documentary filmmaking. Anyway, there you go, sir.
Yes.
Could you say that there is a current theme that you explore in your work, and how do you choose your material? I mean, your scripts, what makes you tick? What is it, the human condition? Or, I mean, could you just say something?
I know it might sound like a very basic question, but I think for me, good directors are directed to tell good stories. And so when I write a script or when I direct a film, I do not write is something that I feel is a good story. You know, it really comes down to that. What would I like to see? What would I pay for in a cinema to see? And that's a range of many different things. I think if you look at from She's Gonna Have It, the first film, to 25th Hour, the latest one, is a range of many different interests and stories and people.
If a story presented itself to you that you liked, but you felt you'd covered that territory in a very clear way before, would you avoid that story?
That would be the first impulse, unless I could see a different, another approach to it.
Well, one of the early things we were talking about was there are recurring themes in your work that do seem to, and one we didn't talk about was the idea of family that seems to have woven its way into most of the stories that you've been involved with.
Yes, I feel family is very important, and is really family. The influence of your parents and your family that really has a major influence on how you turn out as a human being.
I mean, as a part of the audience who watches your film, it seems to me that's where the optimism of your films come from. That's where the real heartbeat lies.
Family?
The family. Because, you always try to find the goodness at the heart of that family.
Well, sometimes you look for the things are wrong in that family too. So we just try to look for the truths, whether they be negative or positive. And most families have both of them.